And with the inspirational power of caffeine, I do declare, gentlemen, get yours. Yeah, so I was thinking about this. These guys at the coffee place there was just, there was something very familiar, about something and this one young man. And then I was sitting back and I was like, I think I get it. I'm seeing something that reminds me of like the mid 90s in the city in San Francisco. And I love that I still do that, in the city. In the city of Compton, But and it was just kind of fun to watch, like, see these gents and their camaraderie as they were working together and stuff, and it just reminded me of like kind of the old days of places that I'd been at. And then it hit me. I was like thinking, I'm like, wait, I know this place is. These people aren't stupid. Dutch Brothers are not stupid. They know how to sell their coffee. One of the ways they know how to sell their coffee is the kind of people they hire. And that place had no sexy girls today. It was the roguish boy barista shift is what it looked like. And the young, handsome, roguish fellows, they got their forearm tattoos, and maybe the guy does a bit of jiu-jitsu or MMA or something like that. The other dude's he skates, something like that. It had that. There was that kind of quality, and everybody, they're b-boys or something, but they're playing like, kind of the weird stuff that all the kids listen to now, kind of this super cheerful music and stuff. But yeah, like, and I'm wondering if I'll see something like that more. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. Like, okay, see, as like you'll see people, like the shifts that people do at different places, and like who's on the shifts and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, like it looks like for some reason everybody's hiring the girls to do this or hiring boys to do that. And so there's this part of my mind that's like, oh, that's weird. This place is closed. Oh, you guys are having a little problem with having. Yeah. Oh no, maybe this is their close day. But yeah, it was that. Will we see basically the roguish, good-looking young men having this kind of service job like thing, like these roguish tattooed young men who are attractive to older women, so they'll go shopping there and get a Dutch Bros, because this has existed in Dutch Brothers history before. This is something from the old days that I remember hearing a local once tell me about, where she was like, yeah, I and all these girls from this high school would go and hang out at the Dutch Brothers. And I was like, and I'm sitting there like, was Dutch Brothers like a cafe back then? She goes, and she was like, no, it was just a kiosk. It's just that her and her friends they just loved sitting by the Dutch Brothers and chopping it up with the Dutch Brothers guys. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense, like thinking like kind of you knew them or something like that, But then it hit me, she like really explained it as like, no, it was just everybody had a crush on the Dutch Brothers guys. And I was like, oh, that was like a thing. Okay, that was like some local thing. And I didn't really think anything of it. But now it's making a little more sense. Like now I'm like, oh, okay, no. Sell coffee to moms with the good-looking tattooed boys at the coffee shop. That's the, it makes perfect sense. When I think of the crowd that goes by Dutch Brothers, I'm like, yeah, this is a lot of moms. And so it's just kind of cute, I mean, like, oh, you remind me of the guy who knocked me up in the 90s, I had to go there, guys. I had to go there. Oh, take this tip, you roguish you hot little rogue. Oh, you and your skater gear, like, oh, you remind me of my old ex-boyfriend MMA instructor, yeah, you remind me of my first kid's dad. Sorry. Oh, kind of. One of these. No. By the church. Whoa. So they eventually converted this from the old funeral home into housing for poor people. Because housing is a human right. They'll be on cursed land. The old funeral home. It's cursed. We'll see. That'd be actually kind of interesting if, like, years and years from now, people say, like, oh yeah, the place is totally cursed, and like there's like some local stories or something about it, That'd be kind of neat to see. I doubt that anything that colorful or interesting will happen, but wow, that is housing project fantastic. Let me show you this building. Look at that. That is not a good design. That's real. But that's the design that we're at now. We don't make it like we used to. Real stone, real Scottish style stone buildings. Not happening anymore. But
it's not like, I guess it's like his money.
All right. Well, just thought I would point that out. Like, I'd be kind of interested if any of you are seeing this at different places. Where are you seeing the fellas get hired? Because I want the fellas to come up. Boys, come up. Make your money. Because obviously there's people who know, like, your value. They'll pay you the money if you do the job, and so you should get yours. Because for too long, our country has been sort of like, oh, are you really polite and likable? And and it didn't matter if you could do a job. And now people are like, oh shit, this person will show up and keep showing up for the job because I pay them, I remunerate them in money, and keep it cool. Now that's another thing that I'm wondering if people are starting to notice a change in the way that the change in the behavior of a lot of organizations. Like, are people basically starting to kind of be cool? Because it's like, yeah, you can't go fucking with people. You got to be cool, or they won't come back to the goddamn job. Okay, well, just some stuff I'm thinking about. All right. Oh, hey, check it out. Woo, the Indian Oddfellows. Oh, mystical number 1233. I'm actually so curious. Like, yeah, what an interesting lodge number 9, Wimahala Encampment, Eugene Rebecca Lodge, number 55. Wonder if they do all their old rituals and stuff. I doubt it. Yeah. So curious. This, when that was like a big fashion, secret societies. I've actually thought about this. Okay, I thought you could do anything in Eve to some degree. Like, and I even remarked, like, like somebody Ashtarothi was saying this, and I sat back and I was like, yeah, there's this guy James. He started a religion, and but then it hit me. I'm like, could you have like sort of a secret society in Eve of sorts, or like a fraternity? Like, I know there's a fraternity, but I mean, like, really, like, kind of like this group that I mean, I'm sure like a lot of corporations are like this. They put you through kind of a rite of passage and such like. So, but I was just thinking about that. Like what would that be? What would that be like? Like, I've actually had to really think about that. What would a secret society in Eve be like? Because it would have to be extremely well organized at the stage at which it does any kind of operations. So its opera would have to be very well organized. And then its decision-making and collective chambers would have to be, chambers and chapters would, have to be relatively indetectable in the Eve universe, which isn't hard. That part's not hard. And, because you'd be like using Discord or something like that. But I mean, like, it was just something I was thinking about, like, because the way this guy said you could do anything in Eve if you just put your mind to it. And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, and then I just thought, and I was like, I gotta ask people, how do you think that would be done? To start some kind of secret fraternity, some secret fighting fraternity or something. Because it also seems like it would have to be a role-playing thing. Like that, it would be like a Triglavian fraternity in the Amarian Empire or something, or a secret Edencom fraternity, like the idea, like a role-playing thing, like these are people who are Edencom and they're in like a special, fighting fraternity of Edencom, and that they go and they do all these Triglavian missions, and then every once in a while, like, they do something that, but it would seem like also it would only suit people, something like a PvE fleet, so that people would see it see everybody doing this in the game. They would see the results or even hear about it, but no, they didn't murk anybody. But that if anybody messes with the PvE fleet, that they would, that's the thing. You could burn, then they start murking people, and that it has something to do with like maybe certain system. They that's like that's the third degree, that that system. You have to live through going, clearing all the sites in that system or something like that. There's a special term for the logistics person, a special term for the all the different, the DPS people, all that, because and I know this isn't difficult. I'm sure somebody's going to put like one word in response, like it's called a da-da-da, like how don't you know this? But it's like I've just was thinking about that, like what would that look like? And what would that be like? And I guess that would be kind of like faction warfare, except the idea is your order, of course, would have whatever it does. Like it's whatever that order is dedicated to. And so that's why I was like, yeah, just thinking about that, like, the order of making big Skrilla, the order of Skrilla Gorilla. And all I do is go around, like, farming, and just making Skrilla. When you're a new player, are you ready to join the order and make Skrilla? Hand over hand, like a gorilla, So, so that was it was a thought about EVE Online that I thought I would share. All right. See, inspired by the power of caffeine and young men still doing shit jobs, reminding me, that's how it is. That's who we are. We're people, and people do shit jobs, Wow, so this got cleared out. Wow, there's been a lot of building in this town. There's been a lot of building. There was a big explosion of money to build stuff in the area. As this is pretty wild, how much stuff I've been seeing constructed, stuff improved, property improved. The explosion of people selling houses. I'm seeing the wake of it. It's to be interesting to see Now, this area of the country is going to have a lot to worry about with clean fill prices, fertilizer prices, and if they have a municipal water and electrical board, but that's also going to be its own problem. Is because the market is, it's a larger market just just here, so all prices will affect. All prices of fuel will affect things here, and this is out in the burbs. Well, I'm way out in the burbs, and so getting stuff here is going to get pricey, and we're already hearing about it in the back of the shop that prices are not going down. Let's just put it that way. And there's been adjustments in product lines that we've been messing with. Like this can be used twice. You can use this hot. You cool it within this amount of time. You can serve it cold to be rewarmed. There's those strategies. Make this, because when it's done, we take the remainder, desiccate it, and then I guess that'd be the term, shred it, and then put it in another, use it for an ingredient and something else, and cool it. Properly cool it, use it as ingredient for something else. And we're doing this a lot. We're having to do this a lot. There's and now also more and more they're looking at numbers of what's getting wasted, like what product lines are absolutely wasteful. I mean, they're really, I'm seeing it now. It's people, the upper offices are looking for where to deal with costs, and so I think they're accepting there's no way around the human labor costs. I think, to what I'm seeing in my business, it looks as if the just raw labor costs, that's all they could do. They got to accept that. But it's product and inefficient products that are just taking up shelf space. That's now the thing. They've got to clear up issues having to do with product lines that nobody's really that interested in, and or that nobody's buying, or that you can't reuse in any way. All right, later.